Welcome to selfdiscoveryradio.com, where the orchard of wisdom is just ready for picking. We celebrate your why, the journey that you've taken that inspires someone else. We support your services, we support your story. Come and be our guest, become a host, be an author with us. Come and see what we've got. Our next show is...
Good day, everyone, and welcome to Recovering the Whole of You. I am Dr. Kitty Adderley, physical therapist, recovery expert, breast cancer rehab specialist, lymphedema specialist, all of those wonderful things that I can do to help you recover well. I am so happy to have joining me today Miss Melissa Deidre Major. We're going to be chatting about World Cancer Day, which is celebrated February 4th every year. And I just found it so fitting to have Miss Melissa join us. M1, we like to call her, because she's just all of that. Mission impossible. She gets the job done. So when we talk about World Cancer Day, we talk about really taking time to focus on what it means to be aware, to create advocacy, to create just a general movement so people can understand how cancer is affecting us in our daily lives and as a community and as worldwide. And when we think about that, Melissa Major is the embodiment of a World Cancer Day advocate or ambassador. She's an ambassador truly of cancer. She lives it every single day as an advocate, as an educator, but also as a survivor. And so I really want to share Melissa with you and all of the wonderful things that Melissa does and the things that she can contribute to help us become more aware in our walk as we deal with cancer in our community. So welcome, Melissa.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
It's my pleasure. Could you just tell us a bit about yourself, please?
Okay, so I'm a 17-year cancer survivor of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And actually last month was my 17th year. At the age of 25, I was told, like most cancer survivors, that I had 3 to 6 months to live. I went away, did some treatment at MD Anderson in Houston, Texas, spent an entire year there of my life, and came back home and started doing some work in the cancer community.
And home being the Bahamas, right?
Yes, I forgot that you're international. So yes, home is Freeport, but no, at the time, yeah, I was living in Nassau. So home in Nassau, Bahamas, for now.
Great. So at 25 years old, I mean, when people think their lives are just starting off, you get this massive roadblock placed in front of you. But through, I mean, I know your story and it's so inspiring, but you were giving a diagnosis or a prognosis of living 3 to 6 months. Why not 3 to 6 months? Why didn't it stop there for you? What did you do to take your cause further?
Well, the thing is, so the doctor didn't just say 3 to 6 months. He did say 3 to 6 months, providing you don't get proper treatment.
Okay.
Right. Let me just put that in there because having proper treatment was a big part of my survivorship. Yes. Yeah. And so I seeked out all of my treatment options, and I decided to go with R-CHOP, right? And that's chemotherapy. So I did chemotherapy and I did radiation, and I did some other little things in between in terms of the whole alternative or complementary, right? Adding to it with my doctor's approval. Mm-hmm. And so that was a big part of, get the proper treatment. And then, of course, coming back home, like I said, when I came back home at the age of 25, there was really nothing here for young adult survivors. Mm-hmm. And at that time, too, I had like a whole lot of, many of my friends were being diagnosed with cancer. And just being curious to know and see what was actually going on in my community and what was available to me in terms of support outside of my family and just to get to know other young people that was going through it. And I approached the Cancer Society, and we sat down. We had a really good conversation, and they invited me to come and be a part of the organization. And also that at that time, I started a support group at the Cancer Society for young adults with cancer, and that's how it took off.
Great. So what year was this that you started this work with the Cancer Society, Melissa?
Girl, I think my daughter is 10. So this would have been in 2005 or 6 or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that is awesome. That is so awesome. And just sharing your story of survivorship, it brings so much hope to other people, because when a young person is diagnosed with cancer, before they start their life, well, I shouldn't say start their life, but start a family, there's a lot of gloom and doom that comes sometimes with that prognosis or diagnosis. And to hear you talk about moving on, doing advocacy, but also starting a family, it is so commendable. And I think your story is definitely a testimony to a lot of people that may be facing this diagnosis, or know somebody that may have this diagnosis as well. It's such a source of encouragement. So what was the name of the group that you started with the Cancer Society?
The group is called Freedom Survivors.
Uh-huh.
And we met, I think at the time, because I can't remember, it was kind of like, hey, chemo brain. We met like it was just a support group. And it was more of, we had the emotional aspect of it. We also had the social aspect of it, where we would go out as a group and as a community. And just really, Kitty, as survivors, we go through so much, and there's so much that the world does not understand when it comes to survivorship. And I think for me, one of the most important part of it was just, being diagnosed with cancer and life after cancer. I had to experience a new normal, and the world wasn't ready to handle my new normal. And so I had to create an environment where people understood that this is, and really mostly, like I said, it was for other persons, but, the motivation was what I was experiencing in terms of, the loneliness, in terms of, me wanting to go out and do certain things and not being able to do, or better, a big part of it too was the fact that anytime I would go out, it was 50 million questions, right, as it related to, why are you doing this? Why do your hair look like that? How come you lost so much weight? And after a while, it becomes absolutely annoying. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's why it's so important to create these safe spaces. Like you said, create the environment that people that are walking this walk can have somebody to sit down with them and say, one, I understand what you're going through. We have points of I shouldn't say agreements, but there are a lot of things that we share. Other survivors share probably your same story. But then, like you said, also the support, because sometimes you can't do it on your own. You may need psychological support. You may need continual wellness support. It's all a part of the recovery process. And I think a lot of times when we say, oh, well, the cancer is gone, you assume that the person is healed and they're well. And that may be the case in certain aspects of wellness. But in other parts of it, like you say, emotionally, spiritually, yes, you're still recovering. And recovery is a process. There's no end step for recovery. It has to be continual and has to be going on. And I really, really applaud you for what you've done. Now, I know you started, it was Freedom Survivors initially, but I think at the time that we crossed paths, you had Freedom Kids going nice and strong too by then, right?
Yeah.
So tell us a bit about Freedom Kids.
So Freedom Kids, basically, Freedom Kids is, because it's still going on, it's a community at the Cancer Society. So the Cancer Society has been doing, they've been doing an event for kids with cancer for a very, very long time. So every year they have a big Christmas party for kids with cancer. Mm-hmm. And when I went to work with them as the Programs and Education Coordinator, I just pretty much added to the program. So we added, the whole psychological support to it. We added the community events for the kids. And it was so easy for me to relate, especially being a young adult survivor, knowing that you know, a lot of these kids pretty much just wanted to feel normal, you know.
And as a mother too, I'm sure you had a lot to add as a mother.
Yes, you know, as a mother too, creating that safe space. So the Freedom Kids, once again, we met every month, and we did something with the kids. And if need be, if something else came up, they were allowed to come in to do the counseling with me at the Cancer Society. Awesome. And so Freedom Kids, it's still going on at the Cancer Society. So, you know, if you're watching and you're in the Bahamas or in Nassau and you want your kids to be a part of this program, definitely hook up with the Cancer Society.
Great. And then I'll also put a plug in too, even if you're not in the Bahamas, there may be other organizations and groups that have cancer as one of their focuses. If you feel impelled to, please, we're always looking for support, monetary, it can be educational wise, it may be opportunities for our survivors and our facilitators to travel, to learn, to experience, to share, to network. You know, we really want this because we talk about cancer a lot and we always think about the individual, but we don't think how it affects the community. And Melissa talked about that, going out in the community and having people sensitive to what a survivor's gone through. But also this is global. Almost every country in the world is being affected by cancer more than they want to. And some countries have had organizations and plans and programs set up that are more mature and more developed and comprehensive than the ones that we may have in other countries, specifically the Bahamas too. And so I'd like to invite anybody who's listening that can do anything to contribute to growing us in any way to really reach out to us and the Cancer Society of the Bahamas and see what we can do to grow on that level. So Melissa, when you and I were brought together, and I said brought together because it was so funny. You know, I have been working in the cancer community from 2004 as a physical therapist, but more so as a lymphedema therapist. And I just got, I should say, sucked in, for lack of a better word, meeting the needs of cancer survivors. I had a patient and who was very instrumental at that time in trying to create a program for breast cancer survivors in the Bahamas. And I guess she knew what you were doing and knowing what my passion was and how I was helping, decided to bring us together to work with the Breast Cancer Initiative Foundation. And that's Mrs. Stephanie Siegel. And she brought us two together and we met and it was like fireworks. And from then we've been running ever since, supporting each other, whether it was with the BBCIF or whether it's with any other venture that either of us take on. But what I really enjoyed about our experience getting that foundation off the ground was the fact that we went out there and we did community outreach. We were doing lunch and learns. We were spending hours upon hours going out there and educating women. And I remember when I first joined you and the genetics counselors that we had on the team, I was in awe of the strength and the courage that you had to meet everyone and talk to everyone. And I've learned so much about you from that experience. Could you just share with us your experience of reaching out specifically now to the breast cancer community of the Bahamas, which you serve?
That was an awesome experience, Kitty. And I think, you know, me having the opportunity to meet you, that like we were just destined to be together, you know. and most definitely teamwork makes the dream work.
It does indeed.
And you know, having the opportunity to work with the breast cancer survivors and work with the Breast Cancer Initiative pretty much was, I just absolutely loved the work that I did with them. And it was, or it still is, an important part of, you know, my platform. Being a woman myself and being a survivor, we are all at risk for this breast cancer. So it's something that we can all speak to as women. And, you know, having the opportunity to work with the doctors. I think what the Breast Cancer Initiative has taught me is that we all have something to offer, and we can't do it alone. And working with the doctors, you know, working with the experts, the scientists, you know, working with you, myself, and then the genetic counselors, and then of course the community, right. You know, with everybody being in, you know, working with the ladies and hearing their stories, and you know, how they've been impacted by breast cancer, the survivors, and then hearing the stories of their families, and just being able to, just knowing that, hey, listen, we have an opportunity here to really come together and really work together. And, you know, one of the things too for myself is that I did radiation to the chest. And, you know, one of the things the doctor said to me was that having done the radiation as a part of my treatment, I'm also at risk for developing breast cancer in, you know, possibly in my lifetime. So having that in the back of my head, like I said, and, you know, being a woman, having a daughter, my mom, is almost as if being out there and working and even starting this whole being involved in the cancer community, when I look at anybody, I literally see myself, and that is really what drives me more than anything else.
Yeah. It's you know, it was an experience, because you think, I guess for me, it was a very humbling but very growing experience, because I came from the point of view, oh, I'm a healthcare professional, I'm well educated in this, but then I realized how ignorant I was in certain areas, and working along with you and watching how you fill those gaps, you know, it was so awesome. And then I realized just how much community involvement and advocacy plays such an important part in this. And like I said, I'm so grateful for those experiences. And as we talk about World Cancer Day, that's exactly what the organization, World Cancer Day organization, is trying to do. They're trying to create advocacy and awareness throughout the entire world, throughout the entire community. I'm wearing my orange, and I'm sitting in front of my blue curtains today, because apparently that's a theme color. They want us to light up everything in that color as we promote that message. And their theme is I am and I will. It's like, you're taking a stand. I am a survivor. I'm a supporter. I'm a co-survivor. I'm a healthcare professional. I'm a contributor. I'm a donor. You do something. Say I am.
Yeah.
And fill that promise. You know, fill it, because every little bit helps. So as we speak, I want people listening to this to understand that the smallest thing that you can do, even if it's 2 cents towards a cause, even if you were reposting a message of awareness and education, every little bit you do helps, because we realize that there's a deficit in information. People just don't know where to go for resources. Resources needs resources. So as we go towards World Cancer Day, which we celebrate, like I said, on February 4th, we really want that to be one of the mainstays of that. And as we talk about ambassadorship, where all have you gone to represent the Bahamas, and what have you done to represent the cancer community of the Bahamas worldwide, Melissa?
Okay, so I've had the opportunity. I've been to Canada. I've been to Barbados several times. Where else have I been? I've been to several of our family islands as well. And had the opportunity to work with a lot of the cancer societies in the family islands. I've been to Rochester, New York, where every year the Cancer Society sent me to be a part of Camp Good Days, which is a camp for kids with cancer and sickle cell. Mm-hmm. I think that's about it as far as I can remember, but I've had a lot of opportunities, you know, just to share and just to give my voice as a survivor. And yeah, it's been good.
Right. So you work in Barbados. What exactly did you do in Barbados?
So I have been, or I am, a part of the National Cancer, what is it called, Kitty? The National Cancer, come on, Kitty, help me out. What is it called?
NCCN registry.
Yeah. So I chemo brain. So I've had an opportunity to be a part of that team and implementing our registry here in the Bahamas. And I've been to Aruba as well. How could I forget that? Aruba was absolutely beautiful. And so being a part of that team. And we do have a registry. It's not fully operational as yet, but you know, what people don't realize, there's a whole lot of work behind the scenes. But, you know, the law has been passed as it relates to having it operational and collecting data and all that stuff. And I've been to Barbados also to be a part of the HALT team, you know, for the kids advocacy campaign and getting all the sugary drinks and all that stuff out. And as well as I've done several trips on just, you know, advocacy as well, and just developing the whole cancer capacity building has been a big part of a lot of the trips that I've done as well. So yeah.
Right. So I wanted you to explain what you do in those trips, because you started calling all of these exotic destinations. I wanted
right. Well, this is just going on vacation.
These weren't vacation trips. You were working hard. You were
these were working trips, actually. Yeah. So, you know, and the opportunity as well, Kitty, to work along with the Ministry of Health and the Healthy Bahamas Coalition. I have to give a big shout out to that team as well. And so yeah, so it's been this journey, and it's still going, because, you know, now I'm working with Solomon's Fresh Market, AML Foods. So the mission still remains the same. It's just a different platform. And I absolutely love the World Cancer Day theme. I will. And, you know, for me, you know, of course, I am a survivor, and I will continue to do the work, you know, to make sure that we do everything we can to end cancer. That's the mission.
That is awesome. That is awesome. I consider myself very much an advocate. I am an educator, and I'm a healthcare provider. And I know people probably get tired of me posting things about cancer on my wall, but if you see what I see on the daily basis, I get the stage 3s and the stage 4s and the stage 5. There's no such thing as stage 5, but I just want you to know where these people come in, and I have to give them dignity towards the end. I have to try and make them as functional towards the end. And so I remember when I first got called to join you with the BBCIF initiative, I was like, this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. When we did that Susan G. Komen training, this is exactly where I'm supposed to be, because yes, I make my money as a healthcare provider, right? Healthcare provider, not sick care provider. I need my people to be healthy. And I realize I'm going to see people anyway when they get ill, but I want to try and prevent people from getting ill. And so this is where the education and the awareness is such a big part for me. Just letting people know, first of all, be informed, make better decisions on your lifestyle, whether it's in terms of exercise, whether it's in terms of nutrition, whether it's in terms of just how you manage stress, where you put your body. And once you're armed with those better decisions, we know we're working towards prevention. And then screening, right? We've done some screening initiatives, well, I guess at certain levels with the Cancer Society, but screening for early detection and early intervention. There is a presentation of breast cancer in the Bahamian population, especially for the women, the BRCA1 and the BRCA2 gene. We know that this cancer presentation, it presents very early in life. We've had people 18, 20 years, 30 years being diagnosed, and we know it can be very aggressive. And these people do not have a good prognosis a lot of times. It's aggressive, it comes fast, you know, and when you see that enough, I've lost friends. I can tell you that I've lost friends at the age of 33, leaving young children to this disease. It's done something to me that I have to push. I have to keep the advocacy. I'm fortunate that my mother-in-law is a breast cancer survivor. I think we're almost 17 or 18 years as a breast cancer survivor. I have 3 daughters. I myself have breast. So, you know, and I know I'm saying breast cancer, but it goes across the spectrum of all cancers, that we need to promote the early intervention. We need to promote the awareness and that aspect of it. And so, you know, we talk about physical activity. You serve as lead for cancer subcommittee, and I serve as lead for physical activity subcommittee for the Healthy Bahamas Coalition. But you are just so awesome with the physical activity part of it. I don't think people know that you're a secret spin master. So tell us a bit about that.
Well, thank you so much for giving me that title, because I am working towards that master certification. So yeah, I'm physical activity is so important, right? And you know, having non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and your lymphatic system and all that stuff, movement is so very important.
Right.
And, you know, one way to keep me, Melissa, going, I absolutely love the whole idea of cycling. And I'm not at all a runner. And I just fell in love with the bike because of Ride for Hope, of course. And yeah, so I'm a spin instructor and I teach indoor cycling.
Great.
And so make a couple dollars teaching the class. So that's a beautiful thing.
And
my passion, I just love helping people. And people need to know and understand that, you know, we are here. You know, you have no need to do this alone or by yourself. It's just a matter of finding, I like to say, find your fit and, you know, what it is that you love. Or if you can't find your fit, come and try my fit. Because you tried my class before and it was like,
No,
right?
I'm not a fan of the cycling.
No, but I appreciate the fact that you came and you gave it a try. You supported me. Thank you so much, you know. And so it's just a matter of find your fit, find what it is that you love to do. You know, my love is just the bike. I absolutely love it. So yeah, come and ride with me. Let's ride. Let's do life together. Let's ride.
I'll come back for a few classes. I have not totally given up on it, but I think I need a good mix of things. But you mentioned Ride for Hope, and Ride for Hope is another one of those initiatives that we do in the Bahamas to raise awareness and raise funds. Could you tell us a bit more about Ride for Hope?
Kitty, can I tell you, Ride for Hope was the fire under me. Ride for Hope really, I mean, in terms of jumping out and doing what I love, my very first Ride for Hope, I still remember it today. You know, we got a team together. We went down to Eleuthera. At the time, I was only able to ride like 10 miles. But the whole idea of, once again, community coming together and doing something, it was an amazing experience. They donate the proceeds to the Cancer Caring Center at the Cancer Society. You know, patients from the Family Islands, they come to the Cancer Society. They live there for free. And they have an amazing time. The property, if you've never went to the Cancer Society, you have to go and check it out. The property is absolutely amazing. It is home away from home for a lot of patients, and you know, having the opportunity to work there, to be there, to experience what it is that the cancer patients were given. I mean, listen, 100 miles riding in Eleuthera is absolutely, the motivation alone will get you going. So, and once again, it's the community, you know, it's the give back. It's priceless when it comes to what they are doing to make sure that our cancer patients have what it is that they need. And then it's just not, so let me also talk about the fact that it's just not the Cancer Caring Center. They do the mammogram screening program as well, where patients from the Family Islands come to Nassau to get screened. And you know, that's a big deal because currently we don't have any mammogram machines on the Family Islands. So it's either Freeport or Nassau. And so they fly patients in on a monthly basis. They come in for one day. They do their screenings. They get to go back. And there's a follow-up aspect to that as well. There's the medical assistance program at the Cancer Society where patients, if you don't have any insurance or anything like that, you're given monies to start your treatment. So, you know, it's an opportunity once again to give back and to support your cancer community, support the patients, because we know that, you know, cancer is a very expensive disease to have. And if you don't have the money, you know, that's a part of, you know, I hate that anyone would have to experience that. And because of Ride for Hope, you know, you have a chance to get it.
Definitely.
So yeah, I love Ride for Hope. You have my passion. Oh my God, like you might cost me to go ride my bike today, girl.
I know how passionate you are. And for those of you who are listening and not familiar with the Bahamas, so the Bahamas is an archipelago, a chain of islands. We're spread over 100,000 square miles. 26 of our islands are inhabited, but we actually have 2,000 islands and keys. And so geographically, it's a challenge a lot of times for people who live in those other 25 4 islands that Melissa talked about to get care, because like I said, they are inhabited. So it's a bit inhabited. It's costly. But Eleuthera is a beautiful island. It's one of our longest islands. I think it's like 100 miles long. It has very small undulating hills, but hills, I don't care how small they are for a bike rider or big, right? I remember doing the cancer walk on Eleuthera, and I was like, those kills were licking me. So I can imagine for the cyclists.
Yeah.
Beautiful island, beautiful sand beaches. Go ahead, Melissa.
This year they have a run aspect to it, so you can run or ride. Yeah.
Cool.
Just let me plug that in there. Okay. And it's March 9th.
March 9th. So if you're a cyclist or a runner and you want to escape the cold, because it's still going to be cold up north, you can come down and you can support the Ride for Hope. And even if you can't do it, I'm sure there's a virtual aspect for you to support it. But Melissa, you talked about the Cancer Caring Center, and we talked about bringing our Bahamians in from other islands, but I know there have been times where we've also hosted people from other Caribbean islands. I think there was somebody there from Antigua, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. I think Jamaica as well.
And Jamaica. So we're not just taking care of people in our own country, the Bahamas, but we're taking care of people in the Caribbean and people in our surrounding areas. Y'all know I'm the Caribbean physio. So we take care and support that, and we, provide the care for those people, like Melissa says, who may not have the means and the funds. It's very expensive, room and board and all of those things, but we provide that at the Cancer Society. They're doing an awesome job. And there's also a drive now to include some extra rooms so we can host more people. I think we have a $3 million drive to add. Is it 10 more rooms, Melissa?
Yes. I actually, don't quote me on that.
Okay. We're building more rooms to take care of more people at the Cancer Society. So if you want more information, you can reach out to the Cancer Society of the Bahamas. Like I said, this is World Cancer Day. We're just trying to create as much awareness as possible, as much advocacy as possible. So Melissa, as we wrap up our conversation, I know you and I could talk forever. What are the things, leave us some things that you want us to think about as we celebrate World Cancer Day, as we take it into another 365 days of being an I am and I will advocate for cancer. Can you give us some tips, please?
The first thing I want everybody to do, right? And this has been my talk for the past couple of months. I want you to take an individual approach, because the only way, seriously, we are going to beat this, you have to pay more attention to yourself, right? It starts with you. It starts with the I am, okay? First of all, go out there. If you've not done your annual screening, connect with your doctor or a doctor and, get your screening done, because this is very, very important. Another part about it is educating yourself on what you can do to prevent cancer. Okay, it's not a disease that happens overnight, and our bodies tell us so much, and we neglect to listen, right? And get involved with, something that's going on in the cancer community. Get involved with, these talks that are everywhere where persons are talking about preventing. If you are a survivor, tell your story, but tell your story in a way that you can impact others to want to make a change in their lives. Don't just, tell your story for telling story's sake. We want to create change. We want to create impact. We need movement. We need persons to understand that cancer is not a death sentence. Early detection is very, very important. We need to do better in terms of improving what our outcomes look like, So those are my most important points. So it's, take care of yourself first and foremost. Self-care is very important. Self-care over healthcare. Get involved in your community. Do your annual screenings. If you need help is most definitely available to you. Get involved in something, do something, and just be the change that you want to see in the world, So.
Thank you so much. And we almost forgot. So you've honored me on my show, but I have been honored on your show. We forgot about the pink press. If you want to hear more from Melissa and for more about cancer advocacy, please tune into Melissa's show. Please tell us about your show.
So my show airs on Wednesday, ZNS, 1540 a.m. And the Pink Press is about health and lifestyle. And we use it also as a platform for survivors to come on and positively impact others and tell their stories. And, you know, we just trying to create change. Okay. So that's what we're all about.
We will put the links for Melissa's show because you're on SoundCloud as well. So
I'm on SoundCloud, yeah.
Right. So you can definitely go back and listen, and all of the links to reach out to Melissa. I just want to wrap it up. I want to say thank you so much for giving us this time to talk about World Cancer Day. And I just wanted to reassure anybody listening, whether you're a survivor or a co-survivor, or you know any of those people, that we're here. We were trying to make ourselves more visible and more available to you, but the resources are here for you to help you recover, where it's psychologically, physically, emotionally, financially. We're going to try and find ways and means to connect you with the resources that you need to survive, and not only survive, thrive. So as we work towards recovering the whole you, stay in touch. Follow the tips that Melissa gave you, and please keep following us. Keep listening to the Recovering the Whole You. Keep listening to the Pink Press, and please support World Cancer Day today and for the next other days that you're blessed for. I am Dr. Kitty Adderley, signing off, recovery expert. Have a fantastic day, everybody. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
For more wonderful shows like this, please go to selfdiscoveryradio.com, podcasts, and see our lineup. And if you wish to support us, we have a funded button. Please stay tuned for our next show. For more wonderful shows like this, please go to selfdiscoveryradio.com, podcasts, and see our lineup. And if you wish to support us, we have a funded button. Please stay tuned for our next show.